All right, so today I want to talk about something that happened to me earlier. So this morning I woke up, got ready, went to the gym, and once I got to the gym, I noticed that I did not have my headsets. And if anyone knows that goes to the gym, especially if you go to a gym a lot, going to the gym without your headsets can be very, very challenging. When you're working out and you have your music playing, you're listening to a podcast, or you're listening to me on YouTube, you can put your mind in a different place or a different world, or you already know that this video might last 20 or 30 minutes. So once it's done, that's 30 minutes of my workout that's completed, especially if you're doing cardio. So when I started working out, the lifting weight part was not as challenging, because you can kind of like vibe out to the music that is in the gym that you go to. But when I tell you, when I got on that treadmill, and usually I like to run on the treadmill for an hour, I usually try to do like at least 5 or 6 miles. When I tell you that was one of the most mentally challenging runs that I've ran in a long time this morning, it was very challenging. And the reason being is because when you have your headsets on, you can tune out the voices in your head telling you to stop or telling you you're getting tired or telling you that you can't keep going or telling you to give up. Because when you have your music on, you're into the music, you're vibing, and you just keep going and you do it without thinking about it, or you're listening to a podcast. But when you do not have headsets on, it's really you listening to your voices. So it is you versus you. So you really have to dig deep. You really have to like focus. I mean, my voice and that inner voice in my head was telling me like, hey, you can stop if you want to. I know you're getting tired or how much longer you got left, or I'm constantly looking at the clock trying to figure out how much time I got left before I'm done. And you look down at the clock and it feels like you've been running for like 30 minutes, and then you look back down and it's only been 2 minutes, and you're like, oh my God, how much longer do I have left? And I say that to say this: you have to think about that when you are trying to achieve your goals and you apply that to life situations. There are going to be a lot of times when that voice in your head is telling you to give up, telling you to quit, telling you like you can't finish, telling you not to keep going. But you have to really dig deep and you have to really tune it out and you really have to keep going. It's almost like you're having an outer body experience where you have to detach yourself mentally from your body to keep going, because your mind will give up before your body will give up. And it's like sometimes I would zone out and it would 5 or 10 minutes to pass by and I would even think about it. But then here come my thoughts again telling me like how much time you got left. Then you start thinking about your breathing. Then all of a sudden your calf might start itching. Everything, and I mean everything, was trying to get me to stop from running or to slow down or to go home and get my headsets. But I knew if I came back home, then I wouldn't have went back to the gym or gone back to the gym. But what kept me going is that I didn't want to feel the hurt or pain of stopping and dealing with that in my mind all day long, saying like, oh man, you should have kept going, you should have kept going. But, running on that treadmill, without the headset, you notice every little pain, every little ache. So it's almost kind of like I had to choose my pain. I had to choose my heart. Either I was going to endure this for an hour and it be hard for an hour, or I was going to endure all day of it being hard and painful because I gave up and I quit. So I say that to say this, that in life, there are going to be certain situations when you're trying to achieve your goals, like I said earlier, or you're trying to, accomplish something where you're listening to your inner voice and your inner voice is trying to distract you. You get all these distractions. You have to stay focused and you have to stay on task. And when I tell you, you have to have laser sharp focus, you have to have laser sharp focus. You can't focus on anything else. It's like, when those horses, when you're in a horse race and the horses have the blinders on each side, it's just so they can't be distracted by outside distractions. So they only focusing on a goal. So you have to dig deep, man, and you have to like search within yourself and you really have to get it done. And you don't need any distractions. And you know what? After that was done, I felt a whole lot better because I realized like I was able to accomplish something where it was just me and I conquered that voice in my head. And in life, when you're going through challenges and different situations, really your biggest obstacle is you. Your biggest obstacle is you and your mind. If you can get past the voices in your head, the self-doubt, the procrastination, the low self-esteem, then you have half the battle already won. You have to endure, man. You have to really endure. And life is it's gonna be hard times. Sometimes there's gonna be pain, but you have to choose your heart. It's hard staying in the same place for a long, long time and not achieving anything. But then it's hard trying to reach your goal. So which heart are you going to choose? Are you going to choose the heart and being miserable and staying in the same spot for however long it takes for you to get up, get out and get something? Or are you going to endure, then make that small sacrifice so you can achieve your goal and really go out and get the life that you want? You know, so when I was on that treadmill, I was thinking that exact same thing. Am I going to finish this task at hand and get the body and the health that I want? Or am I going to give up and quit and then have to start all over again and deal with the shame of me letting myself down? Because that's really who you're letting down when you don't follow yourself through, or when you don't see yourself through, or you don't follow your goals or plans and you make plans. So you really have to be honest with yourself. You have to get up, get out and look at yourself in the mirror and say, do I really want this? Do I really want to achieve this? Can I make this happen? And you most certainly can. You know, difficult does not mean that it's impossible. It just means that you have to work a little bit harder. And, you know, working hard is not the end all be all. Working hard, you shouldn't look at it as like you're going through any turmoil. You should enjoy the process, man, because that's what makes the reward that much greater, because you have overcome something that you didn't think you could overcome. How many times have you thought that you couldn't do something and all of a sudden you did it? And you were like, man, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Everything is just like that. The hardest part is getting started. And when I was on that treadmill and I was like, man, here we go. Like the first 4 or 5 minutes. And you know, the first 25, 30 minutes wasn't hard. It was the second 30 minutes that really, when that monkey started getting on my back, and I'm just kind of like, oh my God, man, like, how do I do this all the time? But you know what? When I do it, I do have my headsets on. I do have, like, you know, I'm listening to music. So I challenge myself tomorrow when I go to the gym. I'm not going to have my headsets again. And this time I'm going to, like, you know, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to really focus. I'm going to really make sure that I'm doing what I need to do. And it's all about training and programming your mind to make sure that you are strengthening your mind. Your mind is like a muscle. The more you train it, the more you focus, the better it becomes. The more you read, the better of a reader you become. The more of a meditate, the more you meditate, the better of a meditator you become. Anything that you do over and over and over again, man, you're going to get better at it. So I challenge myself tomorrow to go in the gym without my headsets, without all the distractions, and really focus on me and my inner being. And it's going to be me against myself, because that's the only obstacle that you have, and that's the only person that's the only obstacle that you have, and that's the only obstacle that you have to face in order to get what you want in life. You know, a lot of people sometimes don't try and don't put forth the effort because they're wrestling with their inner self. And a lot of times that self-doubt and inner self wins. But I tell you what, man, you can't let that inner doubt and that inner self win, because if not, you're gonna be stuck in the same place or the same situation that you were in a year ago, and that is not self growth. If you don't want to be at your job next year, we'll put the proper procedures in place so that you don't have to be there next year. If you say you want a house by next year, well, make sure you start doing the steps in order to get that house. If you want to go to med school, if you want to go to law school, make sure you are taking the proper steps. Every morning you get up, it should be about every morning you wake up, it should be about your goal. Every step you take should be about going towards your goal. Every decision you make should be going towards your goal. And I promise you, if you stayed the course, man, the reward is great. So with that being said, man, I always keep it country, keep it cowboy, and God bless America.